Hello and welcome back to the Wild Wormhole. I know it's been a minute since I posted anything, but quite frankly, sometimes content creation can become a grind, and sometimes you just need space to play some games. So I've been playing a lot of games, which means I have a little bit more understanding of how Winds of Exchange looks and feels and plays and all that. So this is a little bit of a sort of pseudo deck opening video, but more of a let's just review the deck and talk about what I've learned in the process of playing it. So this is actually one of my two sealed alliance decks from Keyforge Celebration. You can see its name is IA Cedarong of the Pensive Boneyard. What a name, the Pensive Boneyard. And it comes with the Squire token. Now I'm going to tell you right now that I did take two of the houses from this deck and combined it with a house from my other deck for the Alliance. And I'm going to give a little spoiler alert. I think I made a mistake. I think I left out a house in this deck in my Sealed Alliance experience because I ended up going 2-2 in that Sealed Alliance tournament at Keyforge Celebration. And I look back and I'm like, I think I just played it wrong. The more I played this deck, just Archon, just as it is, the more I have truly thought maybe I should have just played this deck straight up because it's been very, very strong. Okay, so first thing we need to know is it's a Squire token, 2 power, taunt. Squire is very quickly becoming a very high rated token in my book. Because one, it's not 1 power, it's 2. That makes a huge difference. And taunt, just having a lot of access to taunt sometimes when there's a lot of capture in this set for Amber Control is really strong. And I think we'll see that a little bit here. So I'm going to take Squire off to the side here so we can start looking at the deck. So here we go. We're going to start with Brobnar. So we've got Brick Nasty, the Bracken himself. After another friendly Brobnar creature fights, gain 1. Shock Herder, deploy, ready and fight with a neighboring creature. Immediately you see some synergy here. Ready and fight with a neighboring creature. You get 1 from the old Brick Nasty. And then Pelf, enhance with an Amber Pip. Skirmish, after fight, your opponent loses 1 with Skirmish. So immediately you just see like some synergy here, right? Some Brick Nasty, Shock Herder, readies and fights this guy. Your opponent loses 1, you gain 1. So that might be Magical Christmas Land, but honestly, it comes into play more often than you think. Then you've got Rowdy Scald. Okay, you got some Amber and some damage pips. You've got Bumpsy. Play, your opponent loses 1 with a damage pip right there. And Jarl Svend, after an enemy creature is destroyed fighting Jarl Svend, make a token creature. So again, with the deploy herder, the shock herder that has deploy, being able to do this again with Brick Nasty, there's some good fighting effects that seem really strong. So those are all the creatures. So you got 6 Brobnar creatures. Then we get into some other stuff. Autocannon, Amber Pip. After a creature enters play, deal 1 damage to it. Okay, so I was at Keyforge Celebration, and I opened this, and I had no idea Autocannon was being reprinted. And I said, wait a second. There's a bunch of tokens that are just 1 damage. I could just play this and it'll literally kill all their tokens as they enter play. And this got me really excited at Keyforge Celebration. So this card is not insignificant in set. It may have been a bad reprint for sealed play because sometimes it just feels bad to play against this. But that's a topic for another time. You've got Ragnarok Prep, one of my favorite cards. Damage pip. Make a token creature. Then if you control more creatures than your opponent loses 2. This damage trip is also cool with this because you could kill one of their token creatures, and then maybe your token creature, maybe that pushes you right above the other person, then they lose 2. I love this card. It's a really solid card. Strato Smack. Deal 3 to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, make a token creature. Feels good to deal 3 and then play a 2 power taunt guy out. That's not bad at all. Flamethrower, deal 1 to a creature with 1 splash. So you saw the, the flamethrower over here. Or, sorry, not flamethrower, the autocannon. Get that in view. After a creature enters play, deal 1 to it. with this, I mean, there's just a lot of damage out of hand that this deck is able to do, and the Rowdy Scald with the damage trips is really helping us get there. So, so that's kind of cool. Then we have Might Club, but oh wait, there's a second Might Club. Ready and enrage a creature. Double Might Club with Brick Nasty and something with Skirmish is so stinking good. So let's just review, people. Let's go back here for a minute. Look at Pelf. Skirmish, fight, after fight, your opponent loses 1. So like in Magical Christmas Land, if Brick Nasty's out and you get Pelf and double Might Club out there, and you're just ready and enraging Pelf and fighting with 3, and you're just like making them lose 1 every time, and you're also gaining 1. I mean, again, I have played this deck a lot now, and even just having 1 Might Club out there is pretty crazy with that card, with Pelf. So yeah, so that's the Brobnar set. Moving into Sanctum. First card, Glorious View, reprint. For each creature your opponent controls in excess of you, gain 1. Okay, and 2 Glorious Views. Okay, for each creature in excess, you gain 1. So this is where it gets interesting, right? Because Brobnar likes to fight and kill things. Glorious View feels like a dead card in some respects, okay? So this is where I got hung up at Keyforge Celebration trying to figure out my Sealed Alliance, because I didn't know how these would interact together. So, but I think it's important to just note right at the beginning, we've got double Glorious View. I'll put those right there. Then we got Outflank. This card has actually done some serious work. I feel like in some ways it's like Tribute without the Exalting. If you set it up well, which you should on a Sanctum turn, you should be able to at least capture 2. But a lot of times you are capturing 4, and with this capture pip, sometimes you're capturing 5, which again is temporary, sure. But I really think this card has outperformed my initial impression. So I like this card. Okay. Muster. In fact, we got 2 copies of Muster. Make a token creature if your opponent has more amber than you. Archive Muster. Feels really good to play Outflank, then immediately and capture, or sorry, play Muster and Archive, you know, they have more, and then play Outflank. So you make the token creature, which again is Squire, which is a Sanctum creature. So you can very consistently play Muster, sometimes play double Muster, get 2 Squires out, then Outflank, and then have these in the Archive to pull back again. So again, just some simple synergies that are interesting. So we'll put those away. We got Grand Melee. Play destroy each creature that does not share a house with at least one of its neighbors. I've found in this deck it's pretty easy to keep guys out there with a neighbor. We got Grey Rider, which again is great with that Pelf. I wish I had more Pelfs. But to be able to play that with a Brick Nasty on the board, it's just very solid. Love the Grey Rider here. We got Battle Evangelist. After fight, make a token creature. So again, getting some Squires out there, getting some taunt guys out there. Cassiel the Benevolent. It's fine. The capture pips are good. You know, they get you, they save you in a pinch. Okay, there's a lot of stalling keys in this set. So, yeah. So again, fine. Chalet the Safeguard. Obviously, more taunt. Lots of taunt. So you can actually keep those. If they don't have creature control, you can keep those Brick Nasties and Pelfs alive pretty well with all the taunt in this set. And then you've got Colonel Mariana. Oh, wait. There's 2. Each friendly knight creature, each friendly knight captures 1. Unfortunately, the Squire is not a knight. It is a lowly human. But this lowly human is protecting the knights that are capturing Amber. So, even though it'd be sweeter with Defender as a token, this is still, excuse me, again, not insignificant. These 2 together are pretty sweet. So that is the Sanctum house. So got a lot of beefy dudes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. We've got 6 Sanctum creatures, but Muster creates token creatures too. So it's almost like 8. So again, it's just kind of weird with the Glorious Fuse. To see if I could get there, because there's just a lot, big Brobnar, stick to the board guys. You got a lot of Sanctum guys. So, but let's finish with the Unfathomable. First of all, with the fish, we've got Skullback Crab, Poison, Action, Steal 1. I don't mind this guy. We've got Sleep with the Fishes, Amber Pip, destroy each exhausted creature. We've got Bubbles, ×2. Which I love Bubbles. I'm never sad to see Bubbles. A 5-power creature that bounces one of their guys. Always fun. Always great. So we got 2 Bubbles. Then we got my nemesis. Possibly my most hated card in the game. Tawiki Kraken. Screw you, Kraken. I swear every Dark Tidings Unfathomable deck I open, I have this guy. And then the very first deck I opened in Winds of Exchange had this guy. And I feel like it's a conspiracy. I think someone with a lot of power is forcing me to get Tawiki Krakens, and they never successfully enter play. I hate this guy. And he's so cool looking, and it's so sad that this is the effect. This is just terrible. I hate this. I hate him. Under Pressure. This creature cannot ready. Kelp. Your opponent cannot play more than 1 card of each card type. Love this guy. Sunk Cost. Here we go. This is where it gets interesting. Choose a house. Your opponent discards a random card from their hand. If that card belongs to the chosen house, make a token creature. Then you got Maelstrom. You got some big board wiping. Okay. And is this... no. Okay. Yeah. So, good board wipe. Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting card, especially with all the token creation in this deck. Toxic Venom, blah blah blah, gains poison. Now, if you can get this on Pelf, my skirmish guy, and keep him alive and give him poison, so every time he's fighting, he's just killing guys. I mean, that's just crazy. As your Bazin Outpost, this card has outperformed for me as well. Put a friendly creature on the bottom of its owner's deck if you do exhaust 3 creatures. And then as a reminder, we have Sleep with the Fishes, destroy each exhausted creature. So Sleep with the Fishes with this card is very, very good. And it can very easily be a one-sided board wipe. Final card in the deck is Abyssal Sight, destroy a friendly creature. If you do, look at your opponent's hand and choose a card from it. That player discards that card with an enhanced Amber Pip. This card is bonkers good. So strong, so powerful. Again, Abyssal Sight, this is not, news necessarily, but Abyssal Sight and Sunk Cost together, if you can play that together, you play this first, then what kind of cards they have in their hand, and you might, get to play, or might get to really get a lot of bonus from these 2 cards together. So I love that it's enhanced. Very good. Okay. So that is the deck. So if you were sitting here right now and you're wondering what houses did DHaus choose in this deck, you would probably guess correctly if you guessed Brobnar, right? Brobnar's house is just awesome, very strong. I don't think anyone's arguing whether Brobnar is a top 3 house in this set. In addition to Unfathomable, Unfathomable is also a top 3 house, and I did in fact take the Brobnar and the Unfathomable from this deck, and I left the Sanctum at home. And here's why I did it. Let's go back. How many Amber Pips are in Sanctum? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. 1 Amber Pip in all of Sanctum, okay? Now, yes, I know you're screaming at home. There is 2 Glorious Fews. But I thought, how often am I going to pull off a Glorious Few if I have Brobnar and Sanctum together, which are big, beefy dudes, and keeping the board full? What I fail to recognize that I now recognize after playing this deck as an Archon deck is that if Glorious Few is not firing, it means I have a pretty amazing board with a ton of dudes out there, especially token squires out there, that are just reaping the heck out of the game. So this double Glorious Few presents a problem to the opponent, even though I only have 1 Amber Pip in Sanctum. Said, hey, if you wipe my board and kill my guys, that's great, fine. then I'm going to pop this Glorious Few for 1, 2, 3 Amber on my, next Sanctum turn. And if you don't, then I'm just going to reap out with all these giant, mega, big, Sanctum dudes and these Brobnar guys. And then control you with Unfathomable. So, I'm sitting here, 2 months after Keyforge Celebration thinking I should have kept this deck as is. I ended up going with an Equidon house, which I'll show in another video, maybe right after this, that had Strange Shell as a token. So I had to take Strange Shell as a token instead of Squire, and goodness, I regretted it. It did have triple of the Outpost in that deck, so you could draw up to 9 cards a turn, which you'll see in that video is pretty sweet. But at the same time, I look back and I'm like, I should have played this. I have not lost with this Winds of Exchange deck yet. Tell me how that works. I have not lost with this Winds of Exchange deck yet. Now, we're talking less than 10 games, right? But, so small sample size against other Winds of Exchange decks that I own, of course. I'm not saying this is like high sass or whatever. But, again, look back. Hindsight is 2020. Maybe I should have just kept this deck as is. But you be the judge. I'll show in the next video. Oh, let's count Amber pips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9. So I guess that was really scary for me. Again, having never played Winds of Exchange, I didn't know how much tokens would come into effect and how much you're really reaping out to victory. But also sometimes the Maelstrom, this is another play, the Maelstrom actually works in favor of the Glorious Few, because sometimes you can just do a ton of control. You can Maelstrom, put them in an awkward situation with the Calp or whatever. And if they flood their board, okay, great. Then I Glorious Few and drop some Colonel Marianas and keep them off check or whatever. So anyways, not a crazy deck, but definitely was part of my pool, and I think this is going to be interesting in future Sealed Alliance tournaments as we start to evaluate, decks, and as we, try to figure out what we're going to play in these tournaments. So, and second guessing ourselves. So here's the deck list in case you want a quick little shot of the whole thing all together. So yeah, Cedar of the Pensive Boneyard. That's the deck. Can't wait to play it some more. Can't wait to show off some more Winds of Exchange, guys. If you're watching this video, thanks for tuning in. There is more coverage to come, guys. Keyforge has a great future, and I'm really excited about it. And that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.